Hi friends, my name's Steven and this is my channel, Signal Up Productions, where I make videos all about trains. I've got some new products that came in the mail recently. We're going to get an up-close look on them with the camera, do some unboxing and a little bit of a review, and then I'll throw them on the intermodal train here in a little while, take them for a spin around the layout, and see how they run. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, then click that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. I'm ready to get these boxes open, so let's take a closer look. Come on, up, a little closer, come on, here we go. Ready? Ooh, what do we have? Some new ScaleTrains Operator Walmart 53-foot containers. Now, I don't normally order a whole lot of ScaleTrains stuff, but I have a special place in my heart for Walmart, so I had to have a couple of containers. Went ahead and got 2 sets of them, because I'm going to keep 2 containers and I'm going to split them up and share them with some of my friends as well so they can have them on their stack trains. And then over here, a couple of the new Walthers MainLine 53-foot 3-unit articulated well cars. So we've got a BNSF set and a TTX set, both with the yellow safety stripes on them. So they're the very recent paint schemes on both of those. Alright, so for the ScaleTrains containers, that's a pretty typical box for an operator type model. Of course, they're not the easiest to open for a guy like me, because just not that good at opening ScaleTrains boxes, I guess. I don't know. There we go, that works. Little plastic sleeve. And 3 containers. They're not super heavy. They're kind of lightweight. You can come down here. Lee's here. He's just standing by off to the side there. I'm down here at the UPSF layout. This is where I usually do most of my reviews. So just doing some reviews on these ScaleTrains containers. They stack really nice. The pins aren't so stiff that they like stick together like some containers, but they do stack together nicely. We're going to see later how they fit in the Walthers cars, if they line up very well or not. I do like the end detail. That's separately applied door latches there. So those are nice. Now one set from one box comes with 3 different container numbers. We can see them up here in the corners, what container number they are. Those numbers are duplicated in the second set, so I don't know if they make a separate, like how many different numbers you can get in of what they have available. So we'll set those aside, we'll get these out, and then we will get the well cars out of the box. Alright. They're not tremendously heavy. I would almost say they're kind of light, so I'm not sure that they're going to add any operational weight to the well cars. But that won't matter, because once we get the well cars out of the box, you'll see why that won't make a huge difference. So the Walthers MainLine box, that just slips off the top. There's no tape or anything like that holds that on. They're inside a clear plastic sleeve that can be removed from that box. And then the cars themselves are wrapped in plastic. And on top of that, they have a little insert that goes in them to keep them from shaking around, because I can already see they do have some pretty nice detail on the ends of the cars. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. The grab irons and stirrup steps are very fine set. But anyways, the body is a die-cast metal, so that's already pretty heavy. That'll make it track really well. And let's see, I think you guys might remember an earlier review I did on a Walthers 53-foot well car, but it was the single car, so this is a 3-car set. So excited to have these. And I'll get them hooked together here momentarily, and we'll see how well they line up on the pins over the trucks. Yeah, boy, there's a lot of garbage left over here. I'm going to have to clean up and get that thrown in the trash, so I've got some room to work here. We'll get the BNSF out later. Alright. Set those aside. And let's see here. Get that set up on the track. Now these Walthers cars come with metal couplers, but they're not Kadee. They're the Walthers brand Proto Max. I personally switch out everything to a Kadee coupler because I just find that they're overall better quality, more dependable, and I've never had one bad out of the box. But these other brands, I've had them where they come out of the box bent or something. Now this is interesting. All right, so first thing I'm noticing already, one end has the truck on both ends. The other end has a truck on both ends. So the middle well doesn't have any wheels on the bottom. So the articulation pins just straddle over both. So I wasn't expecting that. That's okay. I don't know if that's how the prototype is. If you guys know, leave a comment down below and let me know. I assumed that each car had its own truck. But this works too. And that fits together very nicely. And that fits together. So right off the bat here, they don't roll super freely. I mean, here, I know that seems like it did, but I pushed it pretty hard. I mean, that's, I don't know if you guys can tell, you know, I mean, either the trucks need to be taken apart, or maybe put a little graphite in the axle holes on the trucks and lubricate them a little bit. They'll roll better. So I don't know what else to do about that. But I guess they're good enough. I mean, I'm not going to be running a 400 car train of these. So now the big question is, do the ScaleTrains containers fit into the Walthers MainLine cars here? Drum roll. And they do, actually, very nicely. So I'm very impressed with that. Sometimes I've had some well cars that were a little bit smaller and then some containers that were a little bit bigger, and they did not fit very well. I had to find a different container to put in the bottom to be able to stack the first one up on the top. So, okay, great. Well, go ahead and put a bunch of Walmart containers in my well cars. That way the products can get to the super centers and you guys can buy them and be happy with your choices. So there we go. Let's take the camera up close and take a closer look at some of the details on these cars. So we see here on the end, we've got a little bit of brake piping here. We've got the handbrake with some chain details. We don't have an uncoupling lever. We don't have any kind of MU hose. So all you get is just the trip pin on the coupler there. There's no MU hose. No uncoupler bar. So I kind of a little disappointed that Walthers MainLine. You know, I mean, that's a pretty simple detail to add. I guess I can form that out of some brass wire. But if we go down along the side here, there's a lot of good rivet detail. There's some brake pipe detail bolted in the body. All of the printing seems, you know, pretty crisp and clear. They used a good color yellow on the safety stripe, so that stands out. Although later, I'll probably put the smoke box graphics reflective striping on there, just so it stands out a little bit better when we run at night. Does not have see-through etched walkways. Those are all just, looks like probably injection molded plastic, but they do look nice. I don't see any of the detail parts broken or bent that aren't supposed to be. We get down here to this other end and see the same thing. There's just the brake wheel on the one end. This end doesn't have any brake piping or anything like that. And if we look down on the floor here, you can see the detail of how that is set up there. And we've got the pins for the ends where the containers fit, but also in the middle, so that if you got a couple of 20-foot containers, then those will fit in there as well. All right, so that's the up close look at the containers and the well cars. We're going to tie that set, and we're going to go ahead and get the other set out of the box. Put that up on the track, and then hook that up to my intermodal train. We'll run it out the layout and see how they roll. All right, so I've got the two sets of cars on the front of the train here. The empty set is the BNSF, and I've got it on the front of the train, and this is one of the sharper curves on the layout. So we're going to just see if it's heavy enough to not string line. And it seems like it made it. That was the sharpest part. So that's pretty cool. I mean, what other brands of well cars can you do that with when you've got a heavy train? By the way, all of these well cars are all Walthers. They're either mainline or proto, and they're all die-cast metal frames. And so, I mean, that's a heavy train, and not all of them roll super freely. Some roll better than others. So I could probably do some work on all of those trucks to get them rolling better. But there they are. I mean, they're riding along without any string lining or derailing so far. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that alone I'm happy with. I look forward to trying to run this whole train as a bare table train, which is hard to do in HO scale when you're using plastic well car frames. They just don't tend to track very well. So now the other thing to keep in mind, I have not put a wheel gauge on these, so I don't even know if those are in spec. I know sometimes the mainline models will come with wheels that aren't exactly 100% in gauge, but they haven't seemed to pick any of the switches so far, so they must not be too far off. They're rolling very good. Train's looking good. I like it. Now this is another section that's given me a little bit of trouble before on some trains that I've run, so let's see if we have any issues here. I just know where all the picky spots are, and if the car was going to have any trouble, these are the spots it would happen in. And made it through there just fine. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do next is with these ScaleTrains Walmart containers. Oh, there's the derailment. And it wasn't even on any of the new cars, so that's kind of funny. That's one of the previous 5-unit 40-foot well cars from, I think those are Walthers MainLine as well. It happens. That's why I'll leave those bloopers in these videos. You guys sometimes get a kick out of that. But hey, the new cars, no trouble. That's funny. But we're going to check the ScaleTrains containers against, I've got some Walthers containers in here. I know I've got some, there's another ScaleTrains container there. I believe I've got some Atlas containers in there. So we're going to check and see how those pins line up to the other brands of containers. Alright, that's good there. We'll see, let's see, I know that's the ScaleTrains, and that I believe is a Walthers, and that lines up. That's good. About the, by the way, I always test both directions there, because one pin may line up better with another. And that's a tight fit. I mean, you can see there that's tight, but it does line up, so that's good. Let's see, what about on that Atlas container? That is either an Atlas or an Athearn. I can't remember. The one is one or the other. For those guys that say, oh, they don't run with the short one on top. I've seen it, so sometimes they do. It does not. There, okay, I guess it does line up. Okay. So that, they're lining up just fine. I like that. And it's not a tight fit either, so I mean, you know, it's not gonna stick. Let's see, let's try that little guy. I don't even know what brand that is. It's an old one. I've had it for a long time. The pins are all lining up, so I mean, that's good. These manufacturers are making these mostly interchangeable, so that way, and that another one that sticks. Nice, good, tight fit, so you don't have to worry about the car shaking and the container going off to the side and tearing out a signal or a bridge or something like that. So. All right, so that's it for this video. It's pretty short and sweet, but we got to take an up-close look at the new ScaleTrains containers and the Walthers MainLine 53-foot well cars. See that they perform as they should. It's a very nice set of cars. I don't remember what the MSRP is off the top of my head, but it's around $100 or $120, something like that. The ScaleTrains containers, those just came in the mail the other day, so kind of excited about that. You know, I was concerned that they would not fit in the well cars very correctly, and I'm glad that they did. So we'll be running those containers on the trains a lot lately, I'm sure. Everything so far seems to be of good quality, and no complaints here. So I'm going to get back to running these. If you guys have any questions at all about this or other products, maybe you want to see me review something different that I haven't reviewed yet, leave those in the comments below. Then share this video with your friends so that they know about my channel and can subscribe if they haven't done so yet. And thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.